Are you actually a guest in the Philippines? There is this myth that if you come to the Philippines, you are a guest and that you somehow should automatically be thankful for everything the Philippines has to offer. In this episode, we will discuss this and debunk this myth of being a guest in the Philippines. Here's a good post. Someone says by the name of BRW. Plural noun guests, a person who is invited to visit the home or take part in a function organized by another. I have two guests coming to dinner tonight. A guest typically visits temporarily and operates on the host's generosity. The host provides the food, shelter, and takes the guest out to all the tourist spots for free. The guest returns the favor with good company and helping around the house as a token of appreciation. A tenant is someone who is paying rent to the landlord in a mutually beneficial business arrangement. While the tenant does have to respect the landlord, the tenant also has rights that the landlord must respect. If I, as an expat, am a guest that is supposed to be subservient and be totally fine with some locals taking advantage and disrespecting me, then that means the host should be feeding me, clothing me, and showing me around the tourist sites for free, and that's simply not the case. Most of us paying top dollar rent, contributing to the economy that we are in and helping to make this country a better place. We are much closer to a tenant than a guest. Yes, it's your country, but we are your tenants who have the rights and should be respected. So no, we are not guests in your country. Lots of truths in this post. A guest is someone who is invited and is treated much better than a regular person that would be on the street. Everything is paid for and you are welcome, and the host typically shows you generosity, which is often not the case in the Philippines. In the PNR land, you pay top dollar for your groceries, for your rent, transportation, on your dates. Anything with any kind of standard here costs you money. Oftentimes, they gouge you for extra just because you're a foreigner and presumed to be rich. Any type of gathering, you are expected to pay. That is not a guest. That's not how it works. It's exactly the opposite. A guest should not be paying. Well, in the Philippines, it's the opposite. So how can you want it both ways? Pinoys want to be right all the time. They want to have the cake and eat it too. They do not want to be criticized or called on when they make an error or mistake. Mysterious Edge of Life says, you aren't a guest. You are a visitor or possibly an authorized worker. You are not a citizen. You have no rights in the Philippines. You will be taken advantage. Sometimes you will likely pay more than a local would pay for the same goods and services. You can't argue or fight with locals, else you put your liberties at risk. One more thing that is important to recognize, even if you would consider visitors, expats, and foreigners guests in this country, being a guest, you are agreeing to a set of rules that are not written in stone but understood by both the host and the guest. As previously mentioned, the host will provide you with comfort, things like drinks, food, shelter, and of course, take care of you, communicate with you, and treat you into their home. This is the opposite effect in the Philippines. They want you to come in, they want to charge you extra, yet they want you to say nothing about it. Imagine paying for an object or a service and not receiving it, and expecting to not say anything about it, raise any concerns, and simply roll over. If you say something, they tell you to go back to your home country. That is not how it works. It would be in that way if the guest provided you with ample room to sleep, perhaps a good comfortable bed with no insects or roaches, with something to eat that is delicious, not taken from the trash. Literally, in some cases, by not providing you with clear air and that is not filled with pollution, roosters, karaoke, disturbing the peace. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot say that someone is a guest while you don't do your obligations as a host. Keep that in mind. If you want to invite someone over, you should be prepared to receive them. You should ensure that they feel comfortable. This is normal in any culture, especially in most other Asian countries, if not all other Asian countries. For those of us that have traveled, have you ever visited Japan? Have you ever visited places in South Asia? All these places, they treat you to their home, even if they have nothing, but they'll give you the shirt off their back, because that is the custom, that is the tradition. They have this thing called saving face in the Philippines, which they hide behind. Anytime you point something out, someone else will tell you not to make Filipinos lose face. They do not even know the definition of losing face. How can you lose face when you have no honor as a Pinoy? It is the sad reality. I hate to speak like this, but it's the truth. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be a bad host and expect the guest to be on its best behavior. We are simply here as clients, as paying customers. No one is paying for my rent. No one is paying for my food. No one is preparing anything for me. I am not treated as a guest. Therefore, I am not a guest. I am paying for a service that I do not receive, that I do not get at all. Here in the Philippines, on a daily basis, you are reminded of this. It is now time to speak of yesterday's best and worst comment. The best comment from yesterday says, "This channel is doing God's work, exposing the Philippines for what it truly is." Precisely, that is the aim of this channel. It does not come from a place of hate, but simply watching out for my fellow expats who want to give up everything in America, sell their homes, their properties, their belongings, and come to this country in hopes of finding paradise that other vloggers would have you believe. I'm here to show you that there's a dark side, a downside, a negative side to the Philippines, and that you should not see everything only one-sided. I want you to see the full picture. Before reading the worst comment about yesterday, here is a $2 donation to the channel that YouTube did not notify me of course, yet again, as they're trying to suppress anything positive that comes through this channel. Electro Sharp Turtle has donated $2 Canadian. Another great video, The Philippines Truth. You are one of the most politically incorrect YouTubers out there, talking about the negatives of the Filipinos. Much respect to this man for donating and trying to spell and spread the truth. The worst comment comes from Texting Stories, who says, "I don't know what kind of service people want from workers that earn $4 a day." That is the worst type of mindset to have. You cannot, I tell you this, you cannot be responsible for other people's earnings. If they're earning $4, they will be earning $0 without customers. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. You cannot equate their minimum wage to the type of service they provide, because they are also providing service to many people who are still earning minimum wage. Expats and foreigners are not all rich, firstly. Secondly, we are a very small percentage of the actual population, so how do you explain them providing service and doing their job for others who earn the same amount as they do? It makes no sense. That's backwards thinking. That's poor people thinking. That's the way it is in the Philippines, but it does not make it right. Help spread the truth about this country. Click the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for watching. God bless.